Greetings, YouTube. This is your good friend Fragments of Memory, and this is Armchair Philosophy 101. And I'm going to talk about a quote I saw on Facebook. Well, I won't be able to quote it verbatim, but the gist of it basically said, it's very interesting how when the couple is involved with one another, they're each other's soulmate, they're going to marry this person, they're going to have the children of this person, and then when a breakup happens, as breakups often do, that person is an evil person, they're foul, they're dirty, they ain't nothing, or I didn't see the bad in this person, blah, 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 blah. And the reality is, feelings were involved. And I so understand that. I understand that when you are in love with a person or having wonderful feelings about that person, everything is good. And then when the relationship goes sour and bad things happen, now the person is the scum of the earth, they're the worst thing on two legs. And the reality is, man is a creature of both virtue and vice. I believe we have the potential to do good, we have the potential to do evil. So I don't believe in the inherited criminality of Christianity, but I don't believe that man is always essentially good either. I do believe that we can have the potential to do good, we have the potential to do evil, and it is our own individual choices that bring us closer to the good or closer to the evil, depending on the decisions we make and what we do and what we fail to do. With this being said, with all of that being said, I also want to point out that in a relationship, let's face it, it takes two to tango. Now, before I get any responses about people being unfaithful or cheating, cheating does happen, and that is a shame. And if you're a cheater, I'd say just leave the relationship alone. Don't try to hold on to the relationship and get your kicks outside of it. That's my take on the whole thing. Now, if you are going to be in a relationship, realize that with what I just said earlier, there's good in people, there's bad in people. And it's disingenuous for us to expect only the good when we know there's some bad sides too. Now, if that good does outweigh that bad, roll with that person for whatever reason. But if the bad outweighs the good, get out of there, or don't get involved at all if you see those. But remember, it does take two to tango, so that you did bad in your situation too. You weren't just the innocent party and they were the victimizer. Again, I did another video a while back, and here I am self-referencing, but I did another video where I asked the question, are you the offender or the offended? And too many times we want to see ourselves as the one being offended, but we don't want to see ourselves as the offender, the one who committed the offense. And sometimes it goes on both sides. It cross offends, I guess. That's the best term I can fish for right now. Is that offense can come from both sides. Offense doesn't always come from one side. Just as goodness doesn't come from one side. So wrong is always done on both sides. And sometimes we forget that even we do wrong. When a relationship goes wrong, both of you were wrong. Let's keep it real. One person wasn't wrong and the other one was right. You were right over here, but you were wrong over there. And conversely, I might have been wrong over here, but I was right over here. But everyone wants to see themselves as all right, all perfect, all complete, all whole. And the reality is, we're not all the time. Sometimes I act out of self-interest. I don't act out of altruism. Sometimes I act on what is expedient for me and not what is always the right thing, but the expedient thing at the moment. So I could be doing the right thing for the wrong reasons. And the human mind and behavior are so multifaceted, and there's many facets we don't understand within ourselves sometimes. The Bible talks about this, and for those who may be offended at the use of any religious text or religious reference, I'm just saying it from a philosophical perspective here, that Jeremiah talks about the heart being deceptive and wicked, and who can know it or who can understand it. So if we really look at that, we look at something like that, even the greatest theological minds and philosophical minds have asked the question, can we really understand what we do and why we do it all the time? Sometimes there's some stuff in ourselves that we just can't explain, but we know it's there. So I'd say just think about that before you're in a relationship with the person and it ends. Don't get caught up in this, I want to play the blame game and I want them to look as bad as possible. I understand that it's a way to give you a catharsis. It's a way for you to have some form of closure or at least some release from whatever angst or sorrow that you're feeling. But realize that that person on the other end is still a person. Regardless of how you feel about them, they are still a human being. They are still someone that has feelings, thoughts, and opinions. Now, if that person beat you or raped you, then that's another story too, and they should be dealt accordingly. However, usually it isn't rape or this. It's feelings get hurt across the board. So I want to point that out to sort of, one, be the voice of reason, and two, just to say congrats to that young lady who wrote that quote, because this is true. Before the end of the relationship, we was ready to climb the mountain for this person and make them our wife or our husband or our soulmate. And then when everything crashed and burned, now we're like, oh no, I want to disavow any knowledge of being with that person. I understand there's pain there, but we can't be like that. We do have to keep it moving. I mean, of course, get whatever catharsis you need, but get it in the sense of whatever you like, or get in the sense of you are just as capable of doing whatever evils they've done, just as you're as capable of whatever good they're doing. Man is not, and again, you have many facets of yourself, some that you're pleased with and some that you're not. And I think if we really got deep down and honest with ourselves, we can look at some things in our lives and go, I'm not always the most exemplary person, and I think that should humble us. That shouldn't make us use that as a weapon to go attack the other person, but that should humble us and make us realize that I am human. I am not perfect. I am not a perfect person. And for someone to say that they're perfect and without flaw and without this, they can justify whatever they do, is wrong. So chew on that, and of course always send me your comments, your love, your disapproval, whatever the case might be. Well, take care and peace.